So here we are again, back by unpopular demand, and about to have a little bit of fun. Over the course of the last few weeks, I've been posting quite a lot of what I've been calling dodgyCam presents, very, very deeply self-indulgent presentations of some of the videos that I made for Marillion back in 1999. And more of that is going to continue despite the overwhelming apathy for it. And during the course of that process, I was exchanging some messages with a lady called Sonia, who has been watching all of my videos and being very kind and saying very kind things. And I was kind of cheerfully pointing out to her that every time I post a video, or so it seems, every time I post a video that isn't a Nightwish song, I lose at least one subscriber and gain at least one subscriber. And that becomes a sort of Sisyphean task where I'm sort of locked in a perpetual state of Brownian motion of subscriber base, but no gains and no losses. I am the Sisyphus, if you like, of the YouTube world, constantly pushing up the rock up to the top of the hill and seeing it roll down to the bottom of again. And of course, I'm doing that to myself. I'm doing it willfully. I'm doing it gleefully. And I'm doing it because I can, and because I'm super self-indulgent. And then I looked at my subscriber count for the day that I was having that conversation with Sonia, and I saw that I had 747 subscribers. Now, that's an interesting number because it's the name of a famous aeroplane, and it's also the name of a famous song from my deep childhood, 1983, no less. I think it was 1983, and one of my early formative favorite bands. I don't know if they classed as what was it known as? The new wave of British heavy metal. I don't know if they were that. I don't know if they were new or old. What I do know is that a couple of years later, when I saw Spinal Tap, I was pretty sure that they must have seen an awful lot of Saxon. And a lot of people talk about how Spinal Tap were about lots of different bands and lots of different stories and lots of different rock and roll things. I could never get away from the fact that Saxon seemed to be Spinal Tap and Spinal Tap seemed to be Saxon. But they made unapologetically fantastic, old school, hard rock, heavy metal music. They made it gloriously, they made it loud, and famously in Nottingham in 1983, they played with some phenomenally loud sound system, and they dropped at the end of the concert a giant eagle. The eagle has landed, which had these fantastic lights. And I remember as a kid in the early 80s, I'd have been all of 13 or 14, finding that absolutely glorious and finding them absolutely glorious. And I thought, in honor of my 747 subscribers, that we should take a listen to Saxon and 747 Stranger in the Night. And if I'm absolutely honest, we're not even going to look at the lyrics. We're probably not even going to talk about the lyrics because they're ridiculous and silly. But it is, it's a fantastic song. And I thought I'd enjoy it with you as a piece of indulgence and a little in-joke between me and Sonia and the 14 or 15 people that are going to watch this video. This is Saxon, 747 Strangers in the Night, and quite the most Spinal Tap band that ever existed that wasn't Spinal Tap. Strangers in the Night! Lycra, look at that, glorious. I got to say, so I was born in a time and raised in a time when that's what English people looked like. They didn't go to the gym. They didn't spend hundreds of pounds on their hair. They didn't work out. They were weedy, scrawny, pale guys who were still willing to stand on a stage with barely nothing on, with their shirt off and their studded guitar strap, playing fantastic riffs at incredibly loud volume with trucker caps on, and I can't help but absolutely love it. But my mental picture of what English blokes looked like was kind of set in amber, was frozen in amber sometime in the late 70s or early 80s. And it still astonishes me today when I find young English blokes that appear to have gone to the gym and got a haircut. I find it quite disconcerting. Disco ball! I mean, come on. This is classic old school heavy metal, old school hard rock, a fantastic rumbling, running bass line played by another semi-naked Englishman who has not got a muscle to his name, is wearing a bullet bandolier for his guitar and looks so like Derek Smalls that it might be Derek Smalls. This is a flying V there, some Brian May hair, parcams everywhere, loud, filthy riff, fantastic bass line. How can you not love Saxon? I've no idea why it's Scandinavian 101, but I will say, having toured with Marillion, the one thing I was told, little aside, little story, we were filming in Stockholm. And the roadie, the house roadie in Stockholm, Scottish bloke, was yelling at the house rigger in Stockholm. And I thought to myself, holy shit, that guy's got the broadest Scottish accent I've ever heard. I can't understand a word he's saying. And it turned out that was because he was speaking one of the Nordic languages, I'm assuming Swedish, to the Spanish rigger from the house, because this was a Scottish roadie who had at some stage in his career, as apparently all roadies do from British heavy metal and hard rock acts, he toured into the Nordic countries. He'd fell in love with one of those beautiful Scandinavian girls, and he'd ended up staying there and being a Swedish-speaking Scottish roadie in the house in Stockholm. And so, I don't know, Scandinavian 101, is it? Is that the name of the flight? Has that got something to do with one of those beautiful Nordic beauties? I don't know. I don't care. It's just so incredibly Spinal Tap. It's so rock and roll. It's awesome. He's drumming in his glasses. It's awesome. So why do we think that cameraman decided to jump into the middle of the stage just to shoot a shot of Biff not having an arse in his lycra? That's a weird decision. Listen to that bass line. What a shot! The other night, I was listening to some Whitesnake from the Come and Get It era and from the live album, the triple album, whose name escapes me. But it's got Ain't No Love in the Heart of the City on it, which is astonishing, and Mistreated, which is astonishing. You got to admire the songwriting, the simplicity of, we've got a 747 coming down in the night. There's no power. There's no landing lights. Radio operator. Try to get the message through. I mean, there's not a lot of subtext here from Biff. There's an awful lot of hair. There's an awful lot of lycra. They obviously got a job lot of bullet belts. They got their Marshall speakers. They got classic old school solos from the guitarist. They got a naked bass player. They could not be more Spinal Tap, and I could not love them more right now. 747 subscribers gets you 747. Imagine what I'll do if we get to 2,112 subscribers. For God's sake. Look at him! What a man! What a beast! What are we going to do after the sound of the plane going overhead, Biff? Oh, man, I don't know. Should we do a middle eight? Oh, that's a bit sophisticated. Should we do a key change? I don't think we can do a key change. I don't think we know another key. Should we just do the chorus again? What a man. What a player. What an idea. We'll do the chorus again. Disco ball! I mean... So, in 1983, I was 16 years old. I think this might have been recorded in 80, 81, somewhere around there. Certainly, I think it was recorded before I went to South Africa in 82. I've made fun of this song tonight, but the reality is there's still part of me, that teenage boy, that says this is what rock and roll music sounds like. This is metal. It's pure, it's ridiculously camp and yet somehow strangely macho. It's absolutely outrageous and over the top. but it's just fantastic. It's guitar solos on flying V's. It's naked bass players. It's unattractive men in lycra posturing. It's fantastic. And if you're a Saxon fan and you found me because of this video, understand I am not laughing at them. I'm laughing with them. And I adore this song. And I doubt that I'll ever do another Saxon because I don't think they did a sophisticated lyric ever. And I wouldn't want them to. I wouldn't want to hear philosophy from Biff. I would just want to hear him howl while the bass player rumbles and looks like Derek Smalls. This has made my night. I've really enjoyed this. Even if I'm the only one, I've really enjoyed this. If you're still here, thanks for watching. If you're going to unsub and change me to 746, fine. If you change me to 748, even better. But I'll see you again. Until I do, keep the faith.